We're going to talk about how to love a woman. For the last 2 days or so, as people were responding to my advertisement on Facebook, I received a lot of good questions, but it was the same question. And the question was saying, where are the men? I'm hoping that some men are watching tonight or will be watching. That's what people were saying. I hope some men are going to watch this. And really tonight, I want to applaud you women who are watching tonight, because you want to kind of see if me as a man can confirm what you already know in your spirit of how you should be treated. But I know also you're curious about, will any men show up to the session tonight? And we have some men that consistently follow me. They're consistently here, Rob Hubbard. I mean, I can go through the names. I mean, we could just start naming people. Samuel Pride, and there are men that are normally with us tonight. And while some men will be watching, and some men will be watching in the days to come, and they'll be learning. God bless you, Shell. That's cool that they're here. That's good that they're going to be watching. I see, like I said, Samuel Pride's in the house tonight. But I want to make something clear to you, as mostly women tonight. I'm not tripping because there are not a lot of men watching. I never expected it. My goddaughter, Kelly St. Hill, is on. God bless you, Kelly. Love you. I wasn't expecting many men to be on tonight, and I'm not tripping off of that. I haven't given it a second thought in terms of me being concerned about men being on tonight. The message, even though it's how to love a woman, is for you tonight. It's for you, women. And God bless the men that are watching this. God bless the men that can learn from this. God bless the men who can pass this information on to some other men and to their daughters and to their family. Some whole families tune in to watch me. But I'm talking tonight to the women. Why? Watch this. If you watch, matter of fact, let me back up for a second, or let me set this up. Recently, we saw in the news that Ving Rhames, the actor, was held up by police at gunpoint. Now, this guy he's been on many movies. Many of us watch all the different movies that he's been in. Ving Rhames, y'all. Many of us can just point this guy out. We can see the cops didn't recognize him, which trips me out. They didn't recognize him, but that's a whole nother thing. But we remember when he always did those commercials for Allstate saying, I'm always there, or whatever the company was. It was an alarm company. He said, I'm always there, and I'm always home, or whatever it was. ADT, that's it, ADT. And I'm always there. And notice that you cannot baby boy. That's the first movie, Christy, I was going to mention, but it kind of slipped me as I was saying it. We all remember him in Baby Boy, and Mission Impossible and all the other movies that he's done. But you all seen him in the ADT commercials. Here's a guy that represented the company saying, I'm always there. Again, it's about theft. Watch this. Now, when I say this, I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that men are thieves. I'm not saying that. I'm a man myself, okay? I'm not saying that. But I need you to understand how many women have ever felt violated. How many women ever felt that a man took something from you? Are y'all being honest with me tonight? Have you ever felt that a man took something from you? So look at it, what I'm getting ready to say, with that in mind. Not calling men thieves, because we're not thieves. There's some great men out there. But if you watch all the commercials for ADT, yes, Shell says some are, for ADT, for any security system, there's never They never offer anything on TV for thieves. They never offer anything, classes on how to stop stealing. They never offer any classes, in your town. Here's a free training seminar for thieves to help you to stop stealing. They know that, first of all, they're not going to any of that. They're not interested in that. I need you to stay with me for a minute. They're not ready and they're not interested in any class if you're a thief. And it's not teaching you how to enhance your skills, but teaching you how to stop being a thief. There are never any classes anywhere to show somebody or to help somebody stop being a thief. So they don't advertise to them. Oh, you're missing it. I'm bringing this home already. It's a waste of time. If you're giving a free seminar to teach a thief how to stop being a thief, nobody is coming. God bless you, Shante Matthew Holmes. Nobody's coming to that. A thief is not interested in a class that's going to teach him to stop, him or her, to stop stealing. Okay? So what do you have to do? There's obviously a problem. You go to watch this, to the homeowner. You go to the homeowner and teach the homeowner good habits in terms of keeping their house secured. Y'all not with me tonight. So when tonight I'm talking about how to love a woman, I'm not expecting a bunch of men to be on. I'm coming to the homeowner. Y'all not with me tonight because you're the ones that need the education. I know you say the men do too, but watch this. Why I'm going to the homeowner. See, this is stuff, Shantae, I wish I could talk about on Sundays, but I can't. I've got to deal with, I can't do this on Sunday. The reason why we're going to the homeowner is, one, because we can't talk to the thieves. We can't talk to those who steal. But I guarantee you, as a homeowner, that they're going to eventually, the thieves have to come to the homeowner. The thieves are eventually going to go to the homeowner's house. The thief is eventually going to go to a place where they see that there's some value there. So I could preach all day long to thieves. They're not going to tune in. I'm not, again, mind me when I say I'm not calling men thieves. But again, I can preach all day long. They're not interested. They're not interested in what they're watching. They're doing whatever they're doing. Nobody's interested in this. How to love a woman, please. They think they already know. And there's nothing that another man or another woman could tell them because of the way that we're made. Because of the way that we are made. We feel that we know, men, it's hard for us to listen and to learn. That's one of the reasons why there's more women in church than there are men. A man doesn't really want to sit and doesn't want to have to submit to God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost. A man, it's a tough thing, but it's the truth. You go to stop theft. You go to the homeowner. Did y'all get that? Please let me know if you got what I'm saying. Before I go on, I just want to make sure that you understand. That's why we're talking to you tonight. All right, next part. I mean, it's gonna be rough here. I'm not making any apology for what I'm getting ready to say, but I absolutely have to clarify this before I can begin to address anything on how to love a woman. Several women here are saying they got what I'm saying already. I appreciate that. Let me start out by saying, women, just because you were born a female doesn't mean that you're a woman. Oh, that's deep. Oh, Lord. Oh, I'm going to say it again. Just because you were born a female doesn't necessarily mean that you are a woman. What does that mean? Let me go on further to say that just because you were born a female and and you are a mature adult woman, doesn't mean that you are ready to fit in the category of a woman ready to be loved by a man. That is so deep. It would take all night just to impact that. Okay, Darwin, yeah, check me out later. So you got to understand, just because you were born a female doesn't mean that when I talk about how to love a woman, that you're ready to fit in this capacity. It takes a certain maturity. It takes a certain completeness. We really don't want to acknowledge that on the man's side and on the woman's side. There's a completeness that has to take place that actually makes you a woman in this capacity who's ready to be loved. There's so much with that. All right. Let me go ahead and say to the man, just because you were born a male, and y'all already know this, doesn't mean that you're at the level of capacity to love a fully mature woman in her completeness the way that she should be loved. I'm going to say it again. Just because you were born a male doesn't mean that you have reached the level of spirituality and maturity and responsibility and the depthness in order to fully love a woman in the way that she should be loved. Ladies and gentlemen, it starts out with the person that you pick. It starts out with the person that you pick. You got to understand, just because you're attracted to someone who is a female, or just because you're attracted to someone who is a man, it doesn't mean that that person has actually matured or actually has gotten everything together in terms of being ready to be loved. So when I talk about tonight about how to love a woman, I'm talking about a woman who is complete and ready to be loved. I'm not talking about a woman, a female, who has not reached that capacity to be loved. Now, do I need to break that down? Do I really, maybe I need to break that down. Remember, people have always asked me, Pastor Cherry, you do so well with this relationship stuff, and I've been following you for years, and help me. Could you help me with this question? How do I know when I'm ready to be with somebody? And really the answer to that, one of the answers to that, is you have to be complete in and of yourself. You can't be looking for someone else to complete you. You've got to be complete by yourself. The maturity has to take place before you hook up with the person. Can I say this? Maybe this will help you if you be honest with yourself in our discourse here. This might help you to understand what I'm saying. Look at some of the people that you've had in your life in the past. Look at some of the people you've had in your life in the past when you were incomplete. What does incomplete mean? When you were on the rebound, when you were hurt, when you were devastated about something, when you were insecure, when you had suffered a loss, somebody close to you died, and thank you, somebody said, I'm helping. Vanessa said, you're helping me, Pastor. Look at it. Look at when we gravitated toward people, when we were incomplete. When we're incomplete and we gravitate toward people, during these stages, we often grab somebody who doesn't mean us any good. And they often help to further the damage that we've already been through. Many of us have adults, many of you women, thank you, Regina. I'm obviously saying the truth here. Many of you women have taken on people who didn't mean us any good or didn't mean you any good because you were at vulnerable places in your life due to some things that happened in your childhood And because of these things happened in your childhood, you were incomplete. And even though you had grown into what it seemed like a physically adult woman, there was still some things that needed some developing on the inside, which meant that you were not ready. How many of us have been in you've gone through your first marriage? I'm talking to somebody tonight. You've gone through your second marriage, and you found out that you were not ready. There were some things that you still were not ready. And because you were not ready, it jacked up your ability to be able to, in your selection process. Let me go on further to say this. One thing you need to realize, both men and women tonight, is that we all are a work in progress. That's just the bottom line. I don't care who you pick. I don't care who you have at home. I'm not the perfect husband. My wife could come on here and and she says some really good things about me, but there's some things I still need work on. I'm not perfect, and I'm not coming off as perfect. But tonight, I want to talk to you from my experiences from the past and from the things that I've learned, because I've done some jacked up stuff in the past. And I've tried my best to apologize and to come to grips of who I was. We got to understand that all of us are a work in progress. I'm sure many of you can agree that when we were in our 20s, we really didn't know anything what was going on in terms of trying to be in a relationship or a marriage or trying to love someone. In our 20s, how many people agree with what I'm saying? In our 20s, we didn't know anything about love or, Vanessa, thank you. Exactly. I understand where you're at. When our 20s, we were in a fog. I don't care what you say. We didn't know what we were doing. And many of us can agree that we were still learning and really didn't quite get it, even when we were in our 30s. Am I right? In our 30s, we learned some lessons. We've been hurt, and all of that. And now many of us are in our 40s, 50s, and yes, even 60s. And we're still perplexed. We're still discouraged. We're disgusted. We're confused when it comes to relationships. And what's even sadder, those of us in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, we only have 3 to 4 decades left to try to figure this thing out. I mean, when you think about it in those terms, that's really deep. That's really deep. How many of us in our 40s, 50s, and 60s are still struggling? Be honest tonight. We got to understand that we are all growing. And this is a process that we all have to understand. So tonight, I know y'all are looking, and I'm going to go there in a little bit. Many of you looking, God bless you, Lorraine, God bless you, Robert, God bless you, Karen. Many of you, I saw somebody put up their list. I want somebody to do this and be that. No, that's fine. Good. Have your list. Every relationship expert puts out that same list. And, they need to be caring. They need to do this. They need to love. And they need to, and we'll talk about that. But we've got to understand, before you put out your list, you've got to make sure that you are complete, and you got to make sure everything is on point with what you have at home. I don't know if you've ever bought something. Thank you, Del Misha. Have you ever bought something and you got it home and you realize, I understand, Pamela, and you realize that you needed enough, that you didn't have the main part, that you didn't have what you still had to get something else in order for it to work. And it's because we don't take the time to read the instructions. I've done that before. I bought something home. I said, wow, and watch this. It was cheap. I said, wow, I don't have to buy the main thing because, wow, this looks like this will do it right here. I'm surprised at the price. I can get this thing for this price. And I get it home and they say, no, you still need the main thing. Many of us are bringing stuff home, but we haven't made sure the main thing, that we have the main thing yet. And the main thing is what I'm saying here in the beginning, is the full capacity of understanding fully in terms of being loved, being a complete woman and a complete man. All right. So how do you love a woman? Let's just go to who she is. We already know what a woman is made from. I don't have to go there. A rib is regenerative. So we all know that. Y'all have heard me say that many times. A woman fixes things. A woman knows how to fix things, complex things. Regeneration of anything is very complicated. When God took that rib from Adam, a rib is regenerative. That rib that God took from Adam probably grew back because it's regenerative. Okay? So it's very complex. God made you women very complex. And this is why you've got to be complete in and of yourself as a fully functional, grown, mature, fully developed woman in order, because if you're not, you're going to end up trying to fix the wrong thing. I got to say that one more time. If you are not complete in and of yourself, if you are not totally fixed, if you are not settled in your spirit and understand who you are as a woman fully, not in the fact that you're needy in any way, shape, or form. If you don't get that together, you're going to bring somebody home and try to fix that person, a person that's not for you. So let me go back real quick to the beginning. I'm talking to mainly women tonight. Why? Because men are going to come to you. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to Steve Harvey. They're not going to listen to any of these other folk. Men are eventually going to come to you because you are the homeowner and you have valuable goods inside of you, and they're looking, just the nature, to take what they can get. If you let them be cross the threshold, you don't have your alarm on, you don't have a good security system. Remember I said you got to be complete. Complete is having a full security system. If you are lacking in your security system, somebody's screaming right now. Mind you, when a guy came to put the alarm and set up our house, they have different price plans. And they tell you, well, for this price plan, we can only put up a certain amount of sensors on the windows. So you pick the windows. You're not with me. You pick the windows that you want the sensor to be on. And a lot of times they put the sensor on the bottom. If you have a 2-story house, they put the sensors on the first floor, the windows on the first floor, because they figure it's going to take some effort to bypass the first floor to go up to the second floor. They got to have a ladder in order, Tanya Kuntz, for a security breach to happen. So a lot of times, those are people that are on a limited budget or don't want to spend that much, will secure the first floor windows, but they won't secure the upper floors. Some will secure only with those sensors, those window sensors, only the windows that are out of view of the public. But they'll leave those other windows, since y'all have neighbors that are out front all the time. The front of the house, you might forego having sensors put there, since it's out in a public area where people always are watching. Thieves work on trying to find out the vulnerabilities of the house. Y'all remember Home Alone. God bless you, Maria Mitchell. We all saw Home Alone. These guys have been casing that place for a few days. They knew in the neighborhood when the automatic lights were going to come on in the neighborhood. Y'all ain't with me tonight. They knew when certain people would come home. And many of us that have seen and known people who have been robbed, God bless you, Stephanie Brazel, know that somebody in the neighborhood has been watching. That's why I told you, ladies and gentlemen, particularly ladies tonight, you must be complete. Your alarm system must be on point. And many of you women will agree with me tonight. The times that you let folk in who took from you were when you knew and they knew, just a conversation, that your house wasn't totally secured. It just takes a conversation. Thank you, Rodnika Gray. Thank you, Karen McDougal-Gilchrist. A conversation. I take a woman out on a few dates. What I'm doing, again, if my heart's not right, I'm just talking in general. I'm not talking about a man per se. But if my heart is not right as a man, my first few interviews are, I'm just talking in general. You don't even know I'm doing it. And you don't even know a man is doing it. But he's asking you questions to see how vulnerable your house is. They're asking you questions to see if you are home. Y'all not with me. You're not with me. Many of us have been dogged out because you were dogged out in your past, or you just came out from a bad relationship. And even though you were physically present, spiritually and mentally, you were not home, and you let them know. You let the thief know that you were not home, and the thief knew when to come in and to rob and to steal from you, because you told them in the first 2 or 3 dates that I am not home. Y'all not with me tonight. You're not home. You've done it. You're sitting there having a conversation, and you're letting me know as the thief that you're not home. That means on my next date, I'm coming to your house. Home Alone, they cased the house. They knew exactly when to come in, and they did what they had to do. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, if you're not complete, a man, after he's had a few conversations, will know where you have not installed those guards in those windows, that security system, those sensors. They know where you had to go on the cheap. I could break that down, but break that down on your own. They know when you had to go on the cheap and just kind of halfway secure stuff. A man knows, ladies. You could start out by saying, oh, we ain't having sex. I'm just letting you know right now. But they know whether you truly mean it or not, because they've already checked out your security system. Oh, y'all ain't with me. They're waiting for you. And many times you didn't even realize it. They're waiting for you to get out of church. You've been in church praising and shouting, speaking in tongues, and then Sunday night you're in the bed, because they knew that your security system was only half up. Oh, y'all ain't with me tonight. They knew that your security system was not fully where it needed to be. All right. Okay. All right. Let me tell you. So tonight we're talking about how to love a woman. Y'all been waiting for me to talk about it in the general sense. Some of y'all have been waiting for some Darryl Cherry surprises. I'm going to go ahead on and just put it out there so that way you will get what you came for tonight. But I kind of hope that you really took to heart what I said tonight. Really take to heart. Stop saying, where are the men? Don't worry about the men. They're going to come to you because they want something from you. Sometimes a thief, a potential thief, we've seen some movies. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Vinnie Riley. We've seen some movies where somebody had intended to break into somebody's house, but they started to get to know the people, and they ended up really caring about the people, and they changed their mind, or they brought the stuff back. Or they brought the stuff back because they felt bad. Oh yeah, it's happened. Ladies, what you have to do. That's what I'm telling. Thank you, Barbara. That's what I'm telling you. If you're complete in of yourself, you won't be so vulnerable to let a thief in your house. There are some people that don't. It's just a nature. You know, we men have that physical nature. That physical nature is going to jump off quicker than anything else. I don't care who it is. I don't care what title they have behind the name, pastor, bishop. You know, we go on and on and on. Apostle. I mean, you know, the mayor. We can go on and on and on. Married, unmarried. We can go on and on and on. Doesn't matter what the title is. That nature inside of us as a man can actually sleep with you. We don't even have to know your name. Only thing you have to do, it doesn't matter if you're married, don't matter what your status is. Only thing that nature needs to know is you saying yes. That's it. That's it. So you've got to understand this is what you're dealing with. You got to hold the person off. You got to hold a person off at bay. You know, so, because once that person gets to know you, and once that person starts to have feelings from you, if they really mean this love thing, it's going to curb that nature, and they're going to look beyond the goods that's in your house. I'm talking to somebody tonight. Many of you making a mistake. Y'all, the thief ain't even, some of us, we've been so dogged out. The thief don't even have to wait till you're not home. You're sitting right there. You let him right in the front door. Just take and just steal. Just go for it. Because you've been so broken. And he could tell. He's already cased you out. So let me go to how to love a woman. Ladies, I'm coming to you tonight because you are the homeowner. What you need to do is understand when a person comes to you, when they come to you, because they're going to come to you, they're not going to watch this video. They could care less about Pastor Darryl Cherry. They could care less about any type of instructional video. They could care less about any of this stuff. They're not interested in this. But what they are interested in, you got me, women, they're going to come to you. So as TV commercials do with the ADT and other security systems, they go to the homeowner. I'm going to you. So how to love a woman? How should a man love a woman? First of all, a woman is a person who desires to be loved. I'm talking about a complete woman. I'm not talking about the woman I talked about in the beginning. I'm talking about a woman who is fully complete. A woman is usually a no-nonsense person. She's been through all of the games. She's heard all of the pickup lines before. Many women don't want to hear, hey, you're sexy. They don't like, that's a turn off. They don't want to hear comments about their body. And if I'm saying the right thing, y'all go ahead and let me know if I'm going down the right road here. But these are things my wife and other people have taught me. They don't, especially in the beginning, they don't want to hear comments about their body. They don't want to talk about how sexy you are. They don't want to hear about a particular body part that you like. They don't want to hear about what you're wearing when we're on the phone. They don't want to hear any of that stuff because, again, a woman, remember I gave y'all the definition of what a woman I'm talking about. I ain't talking about a woman who's not developed mentally and spiritually. I'm talking about a complete woman. A complete woman. I'm going to put that together from now on in my conversation. Thank you, Terry. A complete woman wants truth. A complete woman wants intellectual conversation. Foolishness and foolish talking doesn't get you over with a complete woman. Again, a woman who's not complete, a woman who's desperate, a woman who's vulnerable, a woman who's insecure, a woman who doesn't know who she is, a woman who is not home. That goes for her. You can run those lines and games and all of that shallow garbage with her. But with a complete woman, she's already bypassed that stage. She's bypassed her 20s. She's bypassed her exploratory 30s. She is now complete. And she's ready for substance. So a man who's looking to love a complete woman, you better be ready, my brother, to love you better have something of substance, not just your money, because you can have money and still be incomplete. You've got to be a man of substance, a man who loves the Lord, a man who is spiritually in tune with God, a man who is not selfish. A man who is not selfish doesn't reach in and start grabbing stuff. A man who is not selfish doesn't try to take from a woman before she is completely ready. You got to understand. And how to love a woman is get to know her. Figure out what it is about her. I'm going to say this too. Because a woman is made of a rib, and a rib is regenerative, and it's all complicated. The regeneration is always a complicated process. It's not an easy process for something to be regenerated that was broken or fractured or lost or cracked or hurt or manipulated in some way. You're dealing with a godly principle when you're dealing with a woman. You're dealing with something very complex, a person that is very complex. Yes, she came out of a man, but God created her special. Men came from dirt, woman came from a rib. Because a woman is complex, let me say this. A complete woman, it takes a lifetime to learn to love a complete woman. It takes a lifetime, and watch this. While you may, as a man, get bored being with one person, you are already hurting yourself when you cheat on a woman, because you're already giving up and wasting time into putting your time into someone else when you still have not learned your full woman here. You're not with me. You're giving up on the process, and you can make as many excuses as you want to as a reason to step out on her, but you're cheating yourself of some of the greater things that a woman has to give. Now, I gotta say this. Let me see if I can say this and how I can be how I can be correct as a minister. But Richard Pryor gave an example. I'm not going to say it, but Richard Pryor gave an example. And, you know, it was a man and a woman having an argument. And he said, I'm done with you. I'm going to go out and get me a new woman. You know. And she instantly came back and referred to his body part. You know, and said, you know, if you were this, you know, if you had more depth to you, I'm going to try to make it as spiritual as possible, you'd find a new woman right here. Oh, y'all not with me. What am I saying? I'm not talking, you know, crazy tonight. I'm saying that men, there's more depth to that woman that you stepped out on. There's more depth to that woman that you threw your hands up on. There's more, much more. But if you had more depth as a man, y'all not with me. Pamela Love Manning is with me tonight. If you had more depth as a man, you'd find out that there's a new woman that you'll find out every day of your life. I'm always finding out new things about my wife because I'm clear in my spirit. What do I mean by I'm clear in my spirit? There's nobody else. There's nobody else I'm talking about. There's nobody else I'm thinking about. I can lay my phone down in front of my wife. I can leave my phone in the car, and I can walk in the drugstore with my wife in the car. I can go into Walmart, leave my phone in the car, on the dashboard, in the display there, and it doesn't matter who calls because I don't have another life. Men, and I say men, ladies that are watching, pass this on to men. Men, when you say that you're getting bored with the sex, with the intimacy, with getting to know this woman, being with the same woman all the time, or whatever the situation is, or you're tired of the arguing, or you're tired of, not being able to, whatever it is, there's more depth to this woman. And if you step out, now, if you really love this woman, if you step out on her, now you're going to make that process of getting to know her in a fuller depth and in a fuller capacity, you're making that situation even longer. If you're trying to get your degree, you stop going to school. You're not with me today. You're not hurting nobody but yourself, and you'll find yourself taking longer for you to get your degree, and you'll find out, because I went to school and I stepped out, and years have gone by. Watch this. Years have gone by, and I've watched people that I was in class with go back and they've got their masters. They went back and they got their doctorate. They went back or the people that I say went back, I don't mean went back. They stayed in while I stayed out, while I felt I had to do some other things. Men, there's a difference between being intimate with a woman. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. There's a difference, men, in having a sexual encounter with an incomplete woman, wasting time having a sexual encounter with an incomplete woman. And some of you men have been doing it. You got another woman on the side. It's been years, but you still have this complete woman that you love, that you still haven't let go. You still found, you're wasting. The more that you try to invest in an incomplete woman, it's going to take you longer to graduate and get your degree, get your advanced degree with this complete woman who truly loves you and truly has a degree to offer you. You mess with this woman here, this woman is not accredited. Oh, y'all not with me. Oh, this woman, incomplete woman, is not accredited, which means that any coursework that you waste time putting into this incomplete woman, none of it is going to count when it comes time to this. Oh, y'all not with me. But the woman that God gave you is accredited. The woman that God gave you is the one, if you complete the coursework, you're going to get a degree. And the degree counts in the world. Where you go to school matters. Okay, y'all playing with me tonight. Where you go to school matters. Okay, it's good you got your degree, but where you go to school matters. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yeah. You can shout all day long, I got my degree from something. Folk want to know. And the better the opportunity is in life, the more they want to know Not just that you got the degree, but where you got it from. So how to love a woman tonight? Let me shift. I think I've given you enough on those areas. Go back and watch it. Men, because a woman is a rib, because she's regenerative, she is like a physician. And a physician will sit and listen to a diagnosis. And thank you, Michelle. Harvard University, complete woman. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. That's what I'm talking about. A woman is a physician. She's listening and constantly listening in order to give you a diagnosis. Many doctors, they listen and then they reach for their prescription pad. Men seem to forget that a woman is listening and she's asking specific questions in order to complete her analysis to come up with the right diagnosis, in order to come up with the right prescription for the situation. When I tell my wife some things that are happening on my job or at the church or just in general in my life, she's listening, but she's asking for dialogue. How many times have we went to the doctor? The doctor is asking a series of questions to try to get you to talk. And the more questions they ask, many of us have experienced this. Some things that your prognosis, Michelle, yes. There were some things that we forgot, we didn't think about telling the doctor, but once he or she started asking specific questions, that reminded us of some other things, and that helped to complete the diagnosis. What am I saying? Because of a woman's makeup, she wants to talk. Because of a woman's makeup, she wants to get information from you. She wants dialogue. So how do you love a woman? How can you love a woman? What's the best way to love a woman? You've got to let this woman, because this is a complete woman here. There's a difference between a complete woman talking and an incomplete woman who's just, she's looking to fix anything here. This woman here wants to fix some things. When a complete woman is talking, you got to understand that this is part of the intimacy. A woman wants intimacy. And the intimacy is not just in the bed. The intimacy isn't just by touching things on the outside. But the intimacy for a woman is a lot, I almost want to say 90% conversation. Because and the conversation, men, you might think it's a waste of time. Yeah, you're right, Cynthia. Some men are not ready for a complete woman. You're right. And I've kind of laid that out in the beginning, in certain areas, but you're absolutely right. A man, you got to understand that part of her coming up with a diagnosis is being able to talk. If you don't allow this woman to talk, if you are not allowing her to express herself, if you're not allowing her to ask the right questions and to dialogue with you about the right things, she's only trying to help the relationship. I'm talking about a complete woman. I'm not talking about an incomplete woman. The complete woman. That's why you got to pick the right thing from the start. A complete woman is only trying to help you. If you don't tell the doctor everything, you're only hurting yourself. You're not going to get a complete and a correct and an accurate diagnosis because you're the one that withheld some information that the doctor needed. And God is working on a woman. He's been working on her when she was in her 20s. she was a physician. She was an intern. In her 30s, she was a physician's assistant. Y'all playing with me tonight. And later on, she ended up becoming a doctor. She's been trained all of her life. When we as men were playing with trucks and G.I. Joes and different things like that, and all of these rugged toys, she had a dollhouse, and that's a house, that she's learning from childhood. You're getting ready to go into the medical field. We're going to give you a play dollhouse. We're going to give you an easy bake oven. We're going to give you a baby doll to play with. We're bringing you from adolescence, but we're teaching you because you're getting ready to be a doctor. Because you are regenerative. And God has made you that way. Lord Michelle, you just repeated what I said. Yes, that's it. Thank you for putting that out there. I don't know. Are y'all with me tonight? I mean, this is just, I hope y'all are getting something from this. We got 4 minutes, 2 minutes tonight. So, if you want to love a woman, that communication, as Ronika just put it, is everything. Ladies, let me tell you, to know if a man truly loves you, if you know, to know that a man truly loves you, to know that a man truly may not love you in the beginning, he's trying to get to know you to see if he can love you, to know that a man is legit and sincere and complete, is he willing to listen? If he's not willing to listen on your dates, as he's trying to figure out your security system, how clean and how accurate and how complete and how thorough your security system is of your home, you're doing your own analysis. You are making the analysis of, is this person a potential husband or are they a thief? Y'all not. While they're casing out the place, you're trying to figure out, if I let this person in my house, are they a potential husband or are they a thief? So remember, a thief is just going to reach for stuff when you're not looking. A thief is going to reach for things when they sense vulnerabilities in your security system. You go out on a date. Thank you, Shante. When you go out on a date and a man immediately invites you back to his house, he puts you on the couch. He's testing the vulnerabilities of your security system. Can I touch you and get you all heated up? Can I touch you to see if where your sensors are located? Can I put on certain music and put on and light incense and create a mood and put you on the couch? Because I know that a complete woman, if I go to a complete woman and I say, let's go to bed, you're not going to have that. A complete woman is not going to have that. An incomplete woman. And many of you remember when you weren't incomplete. You slept with folk that you were not ready to sleep with. It was too soon. But you were incomplete. You were jacked up. Okay? But a complete woman, a man knows he can't just ask her to the bedroom. Don't know the person. God bless you, Larry Angel. Awesome musician there. He knows. So what he'll do is see if he can get a complete woman on the couch and just see, okay, let me see where the vulnerabilities are. Let me see if I can get her heated up. Start pressing her buttons to find out which windows don't have the sensor on them. Where's her vulnerable spots? Where can I get in her house? Y'all not with me tonight. Which windows don't have the sensor on them? Ladies and gentlemen, I got to do part 2. And I promise I will do a continuation. I won't repeat anything that I said. Part 1, how to love a woman. I want you to do something that you might have never done. I want you to share this video with your daughters. Share this video with your sons. Share this video with your co-workers. Share this video with somebody, your cousin, your aunt, your parents, whoever who you think that this video would apply to. They may not watch it, but just kind of see if they'll watch it. All right? I thank you all for your comments. I thank you all for joining me. Join me for next week, part 2. I'm not stretching this out. I really believe that I've given you some vital information. If you take these analogies, thank you, Karen McDougall. You take these analogies and you apply them to your life, I believe that they will help you. God bless you, Alana McClendon. Thank you, Mary and Daniel. Demuel. Thank you, Vera Smalls. Somebody said, I already did, my son. Thank you for sharing that with your son. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki Holland. Ready Rider, Angela Fulton. There's no share option. I don't know why. I know that's come up. Some people have said that. Michelle, thank you. Your 18-year-old daughters are listening. God bless you. Thank you so much, Barbara. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Willie Hall. And you've been great in here. I love your comments. Maria Mitchell, thank you for your support as well, as always. Thank you, Vera Smalls. Thank you, Delmina. Brandy Ortiz, God bless you. We're going to start out, Brandy, next week with your question that you sent me. And I appreciate you, Brandy Ortiz. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kim, for sharing that with your son. Robert Nikos, thank you for sharing. Quinn Jackson, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Let's get this information out there. Some people will accept it. Some people won't. But I believe that those who will, thank you, Sharon Faulkner, those who will get something. I believe that if they take time to listen, that they'll get something out of it. Ladies, again, don't worry about the men not watching this. Because you know what? They're going to get the information. How are they going to get it? ADT, the security system, advertises to the homeowner. Tonight, I'm advertising to the homeowner. And ladies, the homeowner is you. What are you going to do with the information? I love you all. God bless you. Good night.